Abbey wiped off the sweat on his brow as he sat on the small stool outside his workshop in Ibadan, Nigeria. He works under the scorching sun every day, trying to make a living legally, and he has gotten used to it. For years, his skill as a carpenter had provided just enough to feed him and his family. His wife, Shadi, is a gifted seamstress. She supported Abbey by sewing colorful Ankara dresses for the women in their neighborhood, and together they had carved out a quiet, simple life. They have a 5-year-old son together whose name is Tunde. He is a bright-eyed and curious child who was the light of their lives, and soon they would welcome another baby into the small family as Shadi is expecting a second child. One evening, Shadi was scrolling through her phone when a picture caught her attention. It was a childhood friend, Esther, standing in front of a chic European cafe, her face radiant with confidence and success. That night, Shadi tossed and turned in bed, with different thoughts racing through her mind. She saw Tunde's face in her mind, his bright eyes, endless questions about the world, and she thought about how she could give him a future filled with opportunities beyond the struggles. She got up from the bed, tapping Abbey gently. Abbey, who was fast asleep, sat up on the bed immediately. "What is the matter?" he asked Shadi with worried looks. "Abbey," she whispered, her voice trembling with conviction. "We need to leave this country." Abby stared at her, frowning in the dim moonlight. "Leave? To where?" "To Europe," Shade replied. "This conversation again? Why can't we remain here and be content with the little we have? Have we forgotten we are planning to build our first house?" Shade had discussed her Europe plans with Abby many times. What he did not realize is that she was already saving up to make the trip a reality. "See, all my friends are already in Europe and they are making it big. I can't wait to join them. I've been talking to Esther and she has promised to introduce me to big women in Libya who would sew dresses and pay me well for them. Then we will save enough money and cross over to Europe. Can you imagine making an average of 50,000 for each garment sewn? It will help us live the life we've always dreamt about, and our children can have the finest things without the sweat." Abe heaved a heavy sigh. He told Shadi to be sure about a decision to relocate. "I understand all that, but relocating requires serious planning. We can't just carry our bags and abandon the lives we built here just because Esther says so. Shadi, we are fine here," Abby advised, trying to make Shadi change her mind. "No, we are not," Shadi said, sitting up. "Look at us. We work every day, and what do we have to show for it? Esther is in Europe living a dream. I want better opportunities for our children. We can do it, Abby. Esther says it's possible through Libya." Abby hesitated with every heart. He had heard the horror stories, the scorching heat of the Sahara, the merciless smugglers and the treacherous waters of the Mediterranean Sea. Few who embarked on the journey to Europe returned, and those who did were often broken in body and spirit. But Sade's determination was unshakable, and Abi realized that he could not stop her. As days passed, Sade began to get ready to move to Libya. She had spoken to her friend Esther that she was ready to make the trip. Esther introduced her to an agent who charged her $500 to Libya and another $500 to cross to Europe. Sade has been saving for over a year now, so she believed that she could easily move to Europe after getting to Libya. So she asked the $500 for the second part of the journey kept safely and another $200 to fend for herself and her baby along the way. But as the day drew nearer, Abe could not bear the thought of leaving his wife and kid to embark on such journey. 2 days before the trip, he asked his wife to call her friend Esther. When she picked up, Ade asked her a lot of questions about the journey, questions that Esther found offensive. These questions helped Shadi realize that she wasn't fully prepared for the journey. As a result, Adi decided to go with Shadi to make the journey as easy as possible for her. He could not let her face the dangers alone, not with her son and unborn child. Moreover, he has always had the plans to move to Europe too, but finance has been the major reason why it hasn't worked out. On the day they began the journey, the agent put all the people together inside a crowded truck from Ibadan to northern Nigeria. The vehicle was packed with hopeful pieces, each person chasing a dream of greener pastures. The excitement was infectious, but as they crossed into Niger and ventured into the Sahara Desert, their moods changed. The desert was an unforgiving expanse of endless sand and scorching heat. Abbey, Tunde and Shade were crammed into the back of a rusted truck with dozens of others. The vehicle swayed precariously as it sped through the barren landscape. Abbey clutched Tunde tightly, shielding him from the jolts and the harsh desert wind. Shade placed a hand protectively over her swollen belly as she endured in silence. Her face was full of determination. One night, the truck came to a halt as armed bandits surrounded them. The people began to shiver, holding each other in fear. "Valuables, all of you! Hand them over now!" One of the men barked. Abi handed over the little they had: money, phones, and Sade's cherished wedding ring. Luckily for Sade, the armed bandits did not check their socks, where she hid most of their money. A few passengers who resisted were beaten mercilessly. Shadi sobbed quietly, clutching Abby's arms as the bandits chased them. The driver, terrified, sped off before the bandits were fully done, sending two passengers tumbling into the sand. Their cries faded as the truck disappeared into the night. The passengers could not blame the driver. They knew he did what he did to save them. Days later, they got to the Libyan border. By this time, the group was physically and emotionally drained. Tunde had developed a fever from the treacherous desert nights. Before then, they were crammed into a container that smelled of sweat and urine after being dropped by the bus driver. They were packed like sardines and spent hours inside a container without food or water. When the doors finally opened, some of them collapsed and some did not make it alive. Shadi was lucky as Abbey did everything to ration their food and ensure that she eats well. Now that they arrived in Libya, Shadi thought they were halfway through their journey and Esther would help them gain their feet before they get enough money to move to Europe. But reality set in as Shadi and Abbey realized that Libya was chaos. The promised land of opportunity turned out to be a nightmare of exploitation and violence. Abbey and Shadi were held in a detention center where guards demanded additional payment for passage, and when they could not pay, they were forced to work. The armed bandits had taken most of their money, making it hard for them to continue their journey. So Abbey took on back-breaking construction jobs, while Shadi, despite her pregnancy, cleaned the camp to earn a plate of food every day. The family would share the plate of food at night, no matter how small it is. It was barely 2 weeks when desperation began to set in. The couple had become lean since they did not have enough food to eat. Since they arrived, they had not reached out to Esther as they hoped that they would be able to save enough to pay for their passage to Europe by working in Libya for a few weeks. But after 2 weeks hard work with nothing to show for it, they both decided to reach out to Esther. Esther asked them why they did not come with enough money, even though they explained to her that they were robbed in the desert. After much pleading and explanation, Esther told them that she has a plan. When she finally came to see them, her face was a mix of anger and disbelief. "You didn't tell me you were pregnant, Shade, and you brought a child. This is madness." Esther's disappointment was clear. She wanted to introduce Shade to her prostitution business, but she was surprised to see that she was pregnant. She left abruptly, promising to return, but days turned into weeks and they never saw her again. The couple continued to hustle, but things was extremely difficult as they could not have a proper meal after feeding their Tunde. 2 months later, Abi met a man named Abu, a charismatic smuggler who promised him a way out. After explaining his plight to Abu, he became touched. "Work for me," Abu said. "We deal in weapons. It is dangerous but pays well." Abbey thought about it for a few minutes before he eventually agreed. He knew he needed money to take his wife and kids to Europe, and each day in Libya was a gamble with their lives. The job was dangerous, but he was able to save enough money to plan their escape. But just as Abbey began to feel a glimmer of hope, Abu discovered his plans. He has overheard him talking to his wife about their moving plans and he is not happy about it. "You think you can leave?" Abu snarled. "You owe me. No one lives here without paying their debts." Abby wondered what Abu was talking about. "What debt are you talking about? I thought I was being paid for working for you." "No," Abu snarled. "I'm paying you to help you. You're paying me a total of $10,000. Abby was shocked to hear this. He knew the only way out was to flee, so he played along and assured Abu that he would not leave until he has finished paying his debts. That night, as soon as Abe got home, he led Shade and Tunde to a smuggler who agreed to take them across the Mediterranean Sea in exchange for all his savings. He paid quickly to get the spots, and they began their journey to Europe. The boat was a rickety vessel. It was overcrowded with desperate souls, all praying for safe passage. The sea was merciless, and the waves tossed the boat violently. Tunde clung to Abbey, sobbing, while Shadi whispered prayers, her hands cradling her belly. When they finally glimpsed the European coastline, their relief was shattered by the sound of gunfire. Armed guards ordered the boat to turn back. Panic erupted as some passengers leapt into the water, only to be swallowed by the waves. Some passengers tried to swim towards the border, but they were shot, and their corpses washed away by the ocean waves. Abbey held his family close, his heart heavy with despair, as they were forced back to Libya. He pleaded with the armed guards to save his life and that of his family, as he was willing to comply. A boat took them back while half of the passengers were dead or in the sea battling for their lives. They got back to Libya that night, thanking their stars for making it back safely. Due to the stress, Shadi went into early labor. Abbey, now penniless, frantically sought help. He stumbled upon an NGO camp near the coast, where compassionate aid workers took Shadi in. Hours later, she gave birth to an elderly baby girl. Abbey wept as he held his newborn. He had a moment of peace and pure joy amidst the chaos they found themselves. But their happiness was short-lived. Abu's men tracked Abbey down and stormed the camp. "You thought you could escape," one growled. "Come with us, or your family will pay the price." Abbey kissed his wife and children goodbye. His heart breaks as he followed the men. He did not know what fate awaited him, but his resolve was clear. He would endure anything to keep his family safe. Abbey was held captive by Abu and his boss. He was forced to labor under brutal conditions. He endured beatings, hunger, and the loss of his dignity. His once strong hands, skilled in the art of carpentry, were now calloused and broken from relentless work. His captors treated him and the others like expendable tools, exploiting them for profit. Every day, he held onto the hope that Shadi and their children had found safety, that they were living the dream they had risked so much for. That hope kept him alive. Meanwhile, Shadi's journey had taken a cruel and unimaginable turn. Believing she was securing a brighter future for her children, she had trusted one of the workers at the camp, a woman who promised her safe passage to Europe. But that woman was a trafficker, and Shadi's life became a living nightmare. She was taken to Italy and forced into prostitution. She was locked inside a small room with other women, each of them broken in spirit but clinging to rays of hope. Her children were collected from her and sold to wealthy couples who needed children. Shade protested, but the woman threatened to kill her and dump her body in the sea if she continued to disturb her to bring back her kids. Shade endured 5 long years of torment, Her captors monitored her every move, ensuring that she would not escape or seek help. Each day, she was forced to serve dozens of men, her body used and discarded like an object, and she dared not complain about being tired. The weight of her captivity and the loss of her children crushed her soul. Yet, in the darkest corners of her heart, she has a strong determination to survive, and she clung to the thought of reuniting with Tunde and a new baby, Temi. At the fifth year of working for this strange woman, Shade's breaking point came when she contracted an STD. She feigned illness and refused to work. After 2 weeks of not working and complaining of being sick, she was considered a liability. Her captors threw her onto the streets like garbage. Shadow was weak, broken, and homeless. She wandered aimlessly begging for food and shelter. It was on the streets that government officials found her during a crackdown on illegal immigrants. They took her to a refugee camp where, despite the unfavorable conditions, she had peace and felt safe. When Shadi was informed that she would be deported, her maternal instincts surged to the forefront. She fought tirelessly to locate her children. The process was challenging, but she did everything to expose the woman who took her children. Shadi was threatened by the woman and her big clients, but she refused to give up. Weeks later, her determination paid off, and she was eventually reunited with Tunde and Temi. Their reunion was a bittersweet victory, and there was a fragment of light after years of darkness. Shadi was deported back to Nigeria with her children. She returned to a home that no longer felt familiar. Her once simple life in Ibadan had been replaced with the harsh realities of poverty and the shame of failure. She had lost everything, but she was resolute in her determination to rebuild. What she did not know was that her story had made headlines. Footage of her and other deportees arriving in Nigeria aired on their national news, and it was through this medium that Abbey saw her face again after 5 long years. Abbey's heart raced as he watched the news, disbelief and joy flooding his mind. Shadi was alive. His children were alive. It was the miracle he had prayed for all these years. With renewed determination, he began planning his escape from Libya. Through the help of a fellow captive who had connections with smugglers, Abbey managed to flee the camp. His journey back to Nigeria came with a lot of challenges, but he was determined to make it back. 3 months later, Abe arrived in Ibadan. The reunion with Shadi and his children were tearful and profound. They clung to one another, the years of pain and separation melting away in the warmth of their embrace. Together, they shared their stories, mourning what they had lost but grateful for what remained. Starting over was not easy. Shadi and Abe had nothing but their determination and the lessons they had learned through unimaginable hardship. Habi returned to carpentry, slowly rebuilding his business, while Shadi resumed sewing, crafting beautiful Ankara garments that told stories of resilience and hope. They poured their love and energy into the children, ensuring they had the education opportunities they once thought impossible. The couple became vocal advocates for others, sharing their story to warn against the dangers of illegal immigration and human trafficking. They partnered with local NGOs to raise awareness in their community, hoping to prevent others from making the same mistakes. Through perseverance and unity, Abi and Shade rebuilt their lives from the ground up. Though the scars of their journey would never fully fade, they found solace in their family and the chance to live a life of dignity once more. Together, they prove that even in the face of despair, the human spirit can rise again, stronger than ever. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share to enjoy more interesting stories like this on my channel. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.